hearing this evening, if the clerk could read.
Public hearing number 1, a ceremonial renaming of a portion of Barrett Street from Huron Street to the intersection of South Avenue to Marlene Hill Way.
We have 20 items for original consideration. If the clerk would please read item number 1.
Item number 1 for original consideration, a resolution calling for a public hearing on creating a new section 248-11N of the Schenectady City Code and amending section 228-19 of the Schenectady City Code, vehicle and traffic matters and street and sidewalks.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 2.
Item number 2 for original consideration, a resolution calling for a public hearing to amend section 248-2 of the Schenectady City Code, increasing parking violation fines.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 3.
Item number 3 for original consideration, a resolution calling for a public hearing to amend section 124-3 and 124-22 of the Schenectady City Code, increasing administrative fees regarding false alarm calls.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 4.
Item number 4 for original consideration, a resolution calling for a public hearing to amend section 92-7 of the Schenectady City Code, increasing fees and charges for police department records.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 5.
Item number 5 for original consideration, a resolution calling for a public hearing regarding amending City Code 144-14C, increasing dog license fees.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 6.
Item number 6 for final consideration, a resolution closing out Community Development Block Grant CARES Act funding.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 7.
Item number 7 for original consideration, a resolution amending the 2024-2025 Annual Action Plan.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 8.
Item number 8 for original consideration, a resolution confirming the appointment of Anthony Judd as the General Public Representative to the Civilian Police Review Board.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 9.
Item number 9 for original consideration, a resolution authorizing the sale of a vacant lot at 6 Landon Terrace for $1,500.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 10.
Item number 10 for original consideration, a resolution authorizing the sale of 442 Plymouth Avenue for $100,000.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 11.
Item number 11 for original consideration, a resolution authorizing the sale of 956 Strong Street for $70,000.
Discussed in committee without objection and on consent. Item number 12.
Item number 12 for original consideration, a resolution authorizing the sale of 1243 Parkwood Boulevard for $90,000.
Discussed in committee without objection and on consent. Item number 13.
Item number 13 for original consideration, a resolution recognizing Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
This item will be taken out of order, and I will be presenting that this evening. Item number 14.
Item number 14 for original consideration, a resolution recognizing October as Suicide Prevention Month.
This item will be presented at a later date at the Suicide Prevention Walk on October 6th. Item number 15.
Item number 15 for original consideration, a resolution recognizing September 15th to October 15th as Hispanic Heritage Month in the city of Schenectady.
This item will be presented on the 25th of this month by Mr. Mudaveran at the church on Crane Street. Mr. Mudaveran? Yes, thank you. Item number 16.
Item number 16 for original consideration, a resolution recognizing James Thomas Jr. for his Schenectady City School District Athletic Hall of Fame induction.
This item is being returned to committee in order to verify some information. Item number 17.
Item number 17 for original consideration, a resolution recognizing Schenectady Business and Professional Women's Club member Jennifer Hendricks Farr.
This item will be presented at the dinner for BPW on October 27th. Item number 18.
Item number 18, under contract and supply, a resolution awarding the bid and contract for the Schenectady City Hall ventilation replacement, MC rebid, to RMB Mechanical Incorporated in the amount of $180,000.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 19.
Item number 19, under contract and supply, a resolution awarding the bid and contract for the Schenectady Fire Station Number 1 HVAC and generator upgrades, general construction rebid number 2 to MJG Construction Group LLC in the amount of $197,000.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 20.
Item number 20, under contract and supply, a resolution awarding the bid and contract for the Watt Street Safety and Carey Street Park improvements to Carver Construction Incorporated in the amount of $153,145.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Do I need to go back? Okay. I'd like to return to item number 16 because I will need a motion to table that and return it to committee. Second, please. Second by Mr. Farley. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. If there's nothing more to come before the city caucus, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Mr. Mancini, second by Mr. Williams. All those in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. I'd like to call the city council meeting to order for Monday, September 23rd, 2024. And I'd like to call on Reverend Dr. Amari Tanya Santos of Schenectady Community Ministries for the prayer invocation.
Thank you, Madam Council Chair. And as I will be considering a resolution recognizing Latin American Heritage Month, I thought of two prayers by Claudio Carvalhais, a Brazilian Presbyterian theologian, who would encourage us in prayer this way. Join me in prayer. O God of transformation, use us to embody your love in the world. May broken hearts be embraced by our love. May grieving mothers find us willing to share their tears. May lonely elders find our community attentive. May despairing teens feel encouraged by our support. May displaced migrants be welcomed into safety here. May unemployed workers find connections to stable work. O Spirit, empower us to uphold the vulnerable through our prayers and our actions. Enable us to live into your deepest longing for us and for your precious world. Bless us in your divine grace. Bless us in your divine grace. Bless us in your love. And bless the bread on the tables and the hands who work, the dreams of those who resist, who still sing and hope. Bless us as we walk in your ways. Give us your strength and vision. May your peace give an end to death, to hate, and to all injustice. Bless us as we seek an abundant life. Bless us. Amen.
Amen. I'd like to call on Councilman Williams to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. If the clerk could please complete the roll call.
Mr. Toro? Mr. Farley? Mr. Mancini? Mr. Mutavaran? Ms. Patrick is absent. Mr. Williams? Ms. Porterfield?
Here. We have one out-of-order resolution that we'll be presenting this evening. I will be presenting that, so I would ask if Councilmember Mutavaran would come and take the dais, please. I'd ask for members of the fire department to join me behind the rail, please.
You have the floor.
A resolution recognizing Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas Breast Cancer Awareness Month is an international health campaign that is held every October. The month aims to promote screening and prevention of the disease, which affects men and women worldwide. 1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women will be diagnosed in their lifetime. And whereas, according to the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, breast cancer is the most common form of cancer among women and the second highest cause of death among women. Although not as common, men can get breast cancer as well. In 2024, an estimated 310,720 women and 2,800 men will be diagnosed with invasive breast cancer. And whereas within the month of October, there are also specific dates designated to raise awareness of specific groups within the cancer community. And whereas Metastatic Breast Cancer Awareness Day, October 13th, is nationally recognized in the U.S. as Metastatic Breast Cancer Awareness Day, about 168,000 women in the U.S. are estimated to have metastatic breast cancer. It's a cancer that spreads beyond the breast to other parts of the body. Researchers estimate about 30% of early-stage breast cancers eventually metastasize. The day began in 2009. It meant to educate the public about the need for more money to go into the study of metastatic breast cancer and the development of new metastatic breast cancer treatments. And whereas, while much more common in women, breast cancer affects men too. In 2021, President Joe Biden designated October 17th to October 23rd Men's Breast Cancer Awareness Week. Lack of awareness and stigma can be barriers to detection and care in men, trans men, and non-binary people. And whereas the American Cancer Society says people can help reduce risk of cancer by making healthy choices, like eating right, staying active, and not smoking. It's also important to follow recommended screening guidelines, which help detect certain cancers early. And whereas there is hope. When caught in its earliest localized stages, the 5-year survival rate for breast cancer is 99%. Advances in early detection and treatment methods have significantly increased breast cancer survival rates in recent years. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the Schenectady City Council and Mayor Gary R. McCarthy do hereby pause in their deliberation to recognize the month of October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, in remembrance of those who have lost their lives to breast cancer, and in support of those currently fighting the disease and the more than 4 million breast cancer survivors in the United States. Sir, I'd like to move the resolution.
May I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations, the motion is passed.
Thank you. Oh, nothing? Oh, yeah. Now you are.
Now, the Schenectady Fire Cancer Foundation, they do a great job of making sure that we get early detection, and it's just the same thing with everybody in the public, too. Early detection, make sure you take care of yourself, make sure you take care of your health, because you can survive it. Thank you very much.
Also, I wanted to say thank you for supporting us and inviting us over to your tennis and pickleball event that you're helping to host and raise funds for the Schenectady Firefighters Cancer Foundation. Any support is greatly appreciated. All of the funds go right back to the firefighters to help with the early diagnostic tools that we supply them, as well as to help them financially should they be diagnosed with cancer. So thank you.
All right, you're welcome. So I'll just expound on that. So on October 12th, there will be a fundraiser of tennis and pickleball to support the Schenectady Firefighters Cancer. So come out and enjoy, and you can also just socialize. There's an opportunity as well. Schenectady at the Schenectady Central Park tennis courts. Thank you. Thank you. We do have one public hearing this evening, and just a reminder that we've extended the public comment period for public hearings to 4 minutes. And I also want to remind people that to please only speak on the subject relevant to the public hearing itself. Thank you. Public hearing number 1 is regarding a ceremonial renaming of a portion of Barrett Street from Huron Street to the intersection of South Avenue to Marlene Hill Way. I have 6 people signed up to speak. The first person is Teresa Slater.
Hello. I was blessed with 2 grandmothers and 1 great-grandmother, but I was also extremely blessed to have 1 more, and that was Marlene Hill. She always made me feel like I was her extra granddaughter, treated me with kindness and love. She always helped everyone in need. I can't count the time she expressed her love and kindness to me and my brother and our family. We always felt blessed to have her in our lives. This is why she should be honored with Luigi Street sign, remembering all she did for so many people in the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Carl Van Broomer.
Yes, I used to work at Luigi's restaurant for a couple of years, and Marlene was like a grandmother to me, and she took care of me very well and make sure everything was all right. And she take care of anybody. I think that's why she was a very kind, caring person, and I think that's why it needs to be dedicated in memory of her. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Dominic Cucci? All right. You can say it right because I don't know that I got it right.
Sometimes it's meaningful to reminisce from personal experience. I remember Christmas Day, 1981, spending the holiday occasion at a restaurant owned by Marlene Hill. I was with my mom, dad, and grandmother. From that day on, through the years, whether a birthday party in 1986 or various holidays, when you entered the restaurant, without fail, there was Marlene, God bless her, to greet you, and right away, the words professional and dedication came to mind. Maybe some of us here this evening were too young to remember eating at her restaurant. I'm fortunate enough to remember so many of those special times. Her sincere qualities and hard work ethic should never be forgotten. After her tragic passing, I learned so much about the various fundraisers she organized and the support that she offered to others through a span of 25 years. When we think of those who gave back to their community, I feel that we all wish that there were more people like her these days. I'm proud to have known Marlene, as I'm sure many of us are. Her beautiful spirit lives on, as it should. The thought of her being honored within the community just seems so deserving. I wasn't related to Marlene. However, she always made those around her feel like family, and she cherished her customers on a daily basis. That goes without saying. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Jennifer Finch?
Hello. Mine isn't quite as drawn out as Nick's was, but as you know, she did own Luigi's and was a partner with Luigi. They were friends. They would want both one another to be recognized for the things they've done for this city. So for 25 years, my grandmother not only ran Luigi's, but she did so much for the community, from meals for City Mission, meals for the Bethesda House. She provided meals to the Clover Patch Camp, which was something near and dear to her heart. She sponsored the Little Leagues, numerous children's leagues around here, as well as OTB tennis, because that was the heyday back in the 90s. Fundraisers for the Democratic Party were held at Luigi's. She was the first to participate in Tuesday in the Park. I know some of these things have been repeated. But anyway, basically, my grandmother did so much for the community on top of running a business that is historical to Schenectady. And for that reason, she should be memorized as well with Marlene Hill Way. Thank you.
Thank you. Carissa Hannon?
Hello, everyone. First, I'd like to extend my thanks to the family who brought forward Luigi Lane, because without this, none of this would have happened. And I believe that everybody in this community should be celebrating them both because they work together. With that being said, my name is Carissa Hannon, and I'm one of Marlene Hill's great-granddaughters. For those of you who don't know, Marlene Hill owned and operated Luigi's restaurant for 25 years. Prior to that, she was a longtime employee. In addition, she dedicated nearly 50 years of her life to Luigi's restaurant. She didn't just own the business at this time. She nurtured it, raised a family within its walls, and created a home for everyone who walked through the doors. When Luigi retired and passed the reins to her, she carried on his legacy with grace and determination. Marlene was more than just an owner. She was a mother, a grandmother, and the strength that held our family together. She helped raise my mother, who had CP, as her own tragic accident left her disabled. Later, when my mother became pregnant with me, Marlene stood by us despite her fears for my mom's safety. She ensured that I had the opportunities to succeed and encouraged me every step of the way. I would like to ask the council to consider that both Marlene and Luigi contributed to the history of this city. While Mr. Battaglioli brought an immigrant spirit into a new restaurant, my grandmother was a pioneer in owning and operating a woman-owned business. Luigi trusted her with his legacy, and she honored that trust in every way. Naming the street that would honor them both would show that we, as a community, recognize the full story of what they built together. Let's not let Marlene's dedication be another untold chapter. It's important to remember the countless women like Marlene who, despite the odds, have led, nurtured, and strengthened our communities. Celebrating her legacy is not just about the past, but about acknowledging the strength and resilience of all women. She continues to be my hero. Thank you.
Thank you. Shane Waddell.
Good evening. We were, in fact, actually inspired by the other family. There's no denying that. We've never denied that. But this proposal is based on Marlene and her contributions to the community in and of itself. And when we first went on this journey, we made some missteps. We were very confused by the process. We've admitted that. We hounded you guys with emails and phone calls. And we weeded through the confusion, and we met the requirements based on our unique proposal, and beyond us and family and friends and former employees, we showed that the community supported it. And they strongly supported it, including the people at the Sawmill Tavern. We gave you that letter, we submitted it. We didn't know what to expect. It's been 20 years since she passed. We honestly did not know what to expect when we went down this journey. But I'll tell you, one of the most amazing parts of this journey was walking around with my wife, seeing if we could get community support, and finding people that told us stories of their experiences with Marlene, firsthand accounts all over, mostly in that Union Street corridor, north of it. I mean, the amount of people we ran into that either used to work there or had childhood memories there or knew her on a friendship basis, it was kind of remarkable for that much time to have passed and hear people have these wonderful stories about her. And I just think based on her contributions to the community, we've presented the information. I think it's, in my opinion, and obviously I'm slightly biased because it's our proposal, I think it's a no-brainer to honor her. She was there a long, long time, and people still remember her even 20 years after her passing. So I appreciate your guys' patience with us when we were bothering you with emails and phone calls, and I just want to thank you, and that's all I really have to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I have no one else signed up to speak, so I declare the public comment on public hearing number 1 closed. This time I ask for the approval of minutes from September 9th, 2024. Moved by Mr. Williams, second by Mr. Mutavaran. All in favor? Aye. If the clerk could please read any communications and petitions.
Communications presented to the City Council for Monday, September 23rd, 2024. Under official, there were none. Under general, there was an email from Bridget Waddell with an attached letter, original being brought in tonight during the meeting, from the Sawmill Tavern in support of the ceremonial street naming of a portion of Barrett Street to Marlene Hill Way. Under petitions, there were none.
Thank you. At this time, I ask any council members to provide committee reports. Mr. Williams.
Thank you. On September 13th, the Public Safety Committee came together and convened a special meeting where we sought to evaluate some components of Chapter 182, which speaks to the noise ordinance throughout the city. There were a number of takeaways that I'm excited to announce. The conversations are ongoing. Some of the biggest takeaways were we highlighted the prioritization of phone calls from traffic enforcement and needing to identify needs to focus on enforcement. Also increasing education to inform offenders of potential fines and potential permit processes as communications or as conversations continue. We also identified some areas within the law department office of how tickets are processed and our need to discuss ongoing the need to increase fines or not. But we wanted to remain focused on identifying how fees were collected in 2024 and also what information is needed to file charges and penalties. And then lastly, as a council, we remained in an equal consensus with keeping penalties at their current rate. However, one of our focuses that we all were in common understanding of was updating Chapter 183, which spoke to the nuisance ordinance and the ability to raise the point values for noise complaints. So next steps for our council, just ask the community to remain patient with us, is we are going to review Chapter 183 to continue with evaluating the point value increases. We are going to look at the process of empowering civilians to submit their complaints and also gathering how that documentation is going to be used by the law department. And then also we're going to look at the penalty schedules continuously and also evaluate ongoing conversations about identifying permits for noise complaints. Thank you.
This time we'll have privilege of the floor related to the legislative agenda. I have no one signed up to speak, so I declare the public comment on the legislative agenda closed. This time I'll ask for approval of the legislative consent agenda. Motion by Mr. Mutaverin, second by Mr. Mancini. All those in favor? Aye. Now we will have privilege of the floor regarding to general city business. And I have 3 people signed up to speak. The first individual is Edmund Laban Jr.
Good evening. Excuse me. In Schenectady, New York, when a citizen presents evidence of obstruction of governmental administration by judges in a small claims court case and seeks assistance from the mayor and city council, the mayor and city council members have several responsibilities. 1, review the evidence. The mayor and city council members should carefully review the evidence presented by the citizen to understand the nature and extent of the alleged obstruction. 2, consult legal counsel. They should consult with the city's legal counsel to determine the legal implications of the evidence and the appropriate course of action. 3, investigate the claims. If the evidence warrants further investigation, the mayor and city council may initiate an independent investigation or refer the matter to the appropriate authorities, such as the State Attorney General's office or Judicial Conduct Board. 4, provide support. The mayor and city council should provide support to the citizen by guiding them on the proper channels to address their concerns and ensuring that their complaint is heard and addressed appropriately. 5, ensure transparency. They should ensure that the process is transparent and that the citizen is kept informed about the progress and outcome of their complaint. 6, uphold accountability. The mayor and city council have a duty to uphold accountability within the government and judiciary. If the allegations are substantiated, they should take appropriate actions to address the misconduct and prevent future occurrences. Covering up for Frost and Falatico is not an option. It makes all of you accomplices to the crimes committed. I emailed all the council members a year or 2 ago. Only Chairwoman Porterfield responded and said, go to the Commission on Judicial Conduct. I did with 2 complaints. Commission found no misconduct by judges. The 3rd complaint, I sent return receipt requested. L. Walsh signed for it. In this complaint, I wrote to Commission and said, I know you can't be sued because you don't take an oath of office, but you must base your decision on the rules of court and the law, because you can all be charged with obstruction of governmental administration. I called a couple months later because I didn't get a response. The secretary couldn't find my paperwork, asked if it could be under a different name. I said, no, I sent it registered. L. Walsh signed for it. She said, that's me, I'm Letitia Walsh. They threw my paperwork out. The mayor, instead of doing his job, is covering up for Frost and Falatico by having my ethics complaints denied. County Attorney Gardner is denying my county ethics complaints from being heard, which has no authority to do so. D.A. Carney said there's no obstruction of justice in New York. I called him back and told him there's a statute, 195.05, obstruction of governmental administration. He promptly had Daniel of YouTube, who put me on his video, arrested for obstruction of governmental administration. Carney claims Faust and Falatika committed no crime. Same thing U.S. Attorney Barnett said. Now, like you, they are all guilty of obstruction of governmental administration. Do your job. You're supposed to protect my constitutional rights. That's what you get paid for.
Thank you. I have no one else signed up to speak, so I declare the public comment of city business closed. Miscellaneous of the business of the council? Miss? Any miscellaneous business of the council? Okay. The mayor was unable to be here tonight, so I want to thank everyone that came out to speak, and your comments are taken into consideration. In terms of the public hearing, those comments will be taken into consideration as the council then deliberates on how we move forward with this process, and we'll be taking that up at our next committee meeting. And just to be clear, there is no meeting next Monday. It's the 30th. We don't meet on the 5th Monday, so our next committee meeting will be October 7th. I just also want to mention that there's been a lot of conversation regarding the violence that happened at our school recently, and I just want to note that I was present in the school during the lockdown, and at this time, I'd just like to commend the staff on how well they handled the situation. I was located in the cafeteria. That's where my stay-in place was with all the students that were there. And so I have to say, the students were fine. Everybody was fine. It was a calm atmosphere, and I give that to the staff that was present because of how they handled themselves and the atmosphere that they created. So their attitude and behavior definitely influenced the students, even though, you know, after a while, teenagers get a little antsy. We were there a couple hours, but still in all, with the staff, they worked really well, along with the CEOs. That was prior to the lockdown, though, but I was able to, for a few hours, just watch the interaction. And again, I want to commend the staff and also the superintendent of schools on the fact that they had a protocol in place, and they were able to implement that protocol in that situation. And from my observation, all the students seemed not necessarily happy to be there, but it was a well-controlled situation, and so I can't thank them enough for making sure that those situations, they had something in place. No one wants that situation. However, I can say that the school district prepared themselves should such a situation come up. So I want to thank them again for that. As was mentioned earlier, there will be a fundraiser on October 12th for the Schenectady Firefighters Cancer Foundation, tennis and pickleball. And it's hosted by myself, the Schenectady Tennis Association, Mohawk Pickleball Club, and the USTA Eastern Section on October 12th from 12 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. It's $20 per person, which includes a social, or $10 if you only want to go to the social. And it's open for individuals ages 14 and up. And will be held at the Schenectady Central Park Tennis Courts. And if you'd like to register, you can go to neverfightalone.org. No punctuation, neverfightalone.org to be able to register. And we invite people to register to play, or if you can't, just to support the Schenectady Firefighters Cancer Foundation. There's nothing else to come before this. Excuse me? Yeah. Shoot, I did. I'm sorry. I did. I missed you guys. And nobody said a word. I said 3 people, he left, and I let the rest of you go. So we have to take that back. I'm sorry. Matt? I can't say your last name because I...
That's okay. Matt.
Say it for me.
Lofty.
Lofty. Okay. I'm sorry, Mr. Lofty. That was my mistake.
Okay, I hope I'm not off point. My name's Matt from Saratoga, considering moving down to the United States in Schenectady. Doing a lot of cycling when I come down here, and got to tell you all, you have the stupidest, most screwed up set of streets for cycling I could ever freaking dream of. Your flaw, number one, your streets are too wide. Great access for cars. The wideness itself makes them speed, and therefore it is dangerous, deadly, for pedestrians and cyclists, and I will add, for car drivers too, because everybody involved in automotive safety is going to tell you the first thing, that speed is the main factor in accidents, so it ain't really safe for them neither. But the whole point is, I think, of this bizarre construction of streets. I mean, they're wider than goddamn airport runways, and there ain't even any cars on them. If you look, even during what should be peak business hours, they're empty, and no bike lanes. 80-foot wide streets or some damn thing, and you can't find 10 feet for a bike lane? The bicycle, vastly superior in every possible measurement to a car. You got to make, you should be making room for the good transportation and taking room away from the bad transportation, and that is cars. I would say just narrow the goddamn streets. I know what you're going to say, well, we don't want to have any congestion. I'm going to tell you, congestion is exactly what you want. Why? Because the cars will have to slow down. That will make things safer for everybody, and it will give the stupid-ass car drivers incentive to dump their motorized coffins for clean, progressive transportation, which is bicycles. Why are you doing this? Why do you have these? Well, I will tell you why. Your brains have been freaking kidnapped by the automotive lobby. They have been turned to mush. You think you buy in to this crap that you're not supposed to be able to get anywhere without a car. Well, you could if you put the cars away. The automotive anti-culture culture is a cult. Snap out of it!
The justification for supporting Israel has been as the morally correct thing to do, and Israel is the only friend we have. Now, think about that in context of what's happening today. The reason we don't have any friends in the Middle East is because they're support of Israel. And what has Israel been doing? They've been using our support and weapons to commit genocide and forced moving of all the Palestinians with a 75-year goal of controlling all the territory from the Mediterranean, from the Jordan River to the Mediterranean Sea. And now they're expanding into Lebanon. You're all familiar, in the last few days, Israel has booby-trapped electronic devices with explosives. Innocent people, and they'll get a call, it blows up in their hand. And think about that. Do you think that's going to stop in Lebanon? It's a new kind of terrorism that's going to happen everywhere. Years ago, on an airplane, a terrorist put some bomb in his shoes. When you go to the airport now, you have to take off your shoes to make sure there's not a bomb in them. When you go through security in the future, you can probably expect your cell phone to have to get checked for bombs the same way your shoes might be checked for bombs. So what Israel is starting, Lebanon is in solidarity with protecting the Palestinians, and a resolution from the city of Schenectady is not going to stop it, but a resolution from Schenectady for a ceasefire would put us on the right side of history. And again, no one knows where it's going to go from here, but again, the United States is, our government can actually be praised for, up until now, not getting baited into getting in a war with Iran, but this is the intent. So thank you.
Thank you. And I apologize for overlooking you too. So truly, that is the last person that we have signed up. And at this time, if there's nothing more, ask for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Mr. Mudavaren, second by Mr. Farley. All those in favor? Aye. Have a good evening. Thank you.